Welcome to Mastering Life's Adventures, an educational podcast about tapping into your true self, the soul, the substance of your life, to discover what life's ups and downs are really about, and how to have a greater sense of purpose, peace, joy, and fulfillment. I am Dr. Judith Holder, your host, coach, psychologist, fellow seeker who enjoys diving into the connections between spirituality, psychology, wellness, and your everyday life's adventures. All preparing and polishing you like the facets of a magnificent diamond to be your best self. If you're craving more from your life, you are in the right place. Come, let's journey together and transforming what you know into who you really are. Mastering Life's Adventures begins now. You can feel chemistry and call it love. You can feel relief and call it love. You can feel fear of losing someone and call it love. But intensity is not always intimacy, and relief is not always resonance, and attachment is not always love. And today we're going deeper, not into behavior, not into boundaries, but into the essence. What is love? Really? Hi, I'm back with another key to soul progress. And today, the key is purification of love. We are gently closing this chapter of Love Rewritten. We've talked about patterns, boundaries, overgiving, receiving, triggers, staying too long or settling. Now we step beneath all of it, because until love itself is clarified, we keep improving attachment instead of elevating love. And those are not the same thing. The work of the soul, united with Christ awareness, is not merely learning to behave better in relationships. It is embodying the true essence of love. That's what we work on a day-to-day basis, whether we're in a relationship or when we're outside a relationship. But we always have the relationship with ourselves. But today we're talking about inside of the relationships. That is a different path in terms of the essence of love, the divine love. It's a higher one. It's refining oneself to understand the nuances between human love and divine love. Imagine love as sunlight, pure, radiant, unconditional in its nature. Now imagine placing objects between you and the sun. The sun does not disappear, but shadows form. Fear creates shadows. Control creates shadows. Possession creates shadows. Insecurity creates shadows. And pride creates the very dense shadows. Pride says, I'm right. I deserve. I will not bend. I will not apologize. I will not soften. Pride blocks love because it protects ego over unity. The distortion is not that love is gone. It is that it is obstructed. And when love is distorted, the soul experiences suffering. And we don't think about this. So you may want to dive into a little bit more of what might the soul experience in terms of suffering. So let me talk about a few kinds of suffering that can happen. Anxiety in place of peace. It may create this suffering of obsession in place of freedom. Jealousy in place of trust. Control in place of reverence. Exhaustion in place of expansion. Fear of loss instead of confidence in truth. Distorted love creates spiritual constriction. You shrink, you strategize, you monitor, you defend, instead of expanding. The suffering of distorted love is not punishment. It is misalignment. And the soul feels misalignment immediately. And this is what I've been talking about in my episodes about the sensitivity of the soul, which you may feel it as that angst when you're off balance, or anger or frustration when you're off balance. But the soul is looking for balance, is looking for alignment. Human love often begins mixed with needs. It says, I love you and I need you to validate me. I love you and I need you to stay. I love you and I need you to reassure me. There is no shame in that. It is human, though. Divine love operates at a higher frequency, greater depth, and higher standard. Divine love includes compassion, yes. Kindness, yes. Givingness, yes. Sensitivity, yes. But it is also tuned into the soul. Divine love knows you are more than your relationship. You are more than this particular person, this particular season. Divine love has conditions, not conditions of ego, but standards of alignment. And we don't think about that. We think love is love. And I want you to get the clean distinction between divine love and human love. So when I talk about, it does have this whole notion of standards of alignment, which is quite different from the human ego type of love. It does not accept cruelty. It does not tolerate degradation. It does not shrink for approval. It does not bond through fear. Its condition is this: alignment with truth. Divine love honors free will. It reveres the soul in another person. It allows growth. It respects dignity. Where human attachment clings, divine love releases. Where attachment fears absence, divine love trusts continuity. Divine love is not weak. It is disciplined. Let's take the story of Tara and James. When she met James, she felt instant electricity. It was intense, late night conversations, constant texting, emotional vulnerability right away. She felt alive, but she also felt something else. If he didn't respond quickly, her stomach dropped. If he seemed distant, she couldn't focus on work. If he was affectionate, she felt euphoric. One night during an argument, she felt panic rising in her chest. Not sadness, not disappointment, panic. And she realized something startling. I don't feel peaceful. I feel addicted. Addiction creates highs and lows. It depends on the other person's behavior for emotional regulation. That's attachment. Attachment is when your nervous system fuses with another's unpredictability. It feels like love because it's intense, but intensity is not the same as stability. And what Tara was learning is discernment of energy. Because divine love calms the nervous system, attachment overstimulates it. Let's dive a little bit deeper into divine love. And we don't always think of it this way, but I would like you and I invite you to start thinking in this manner, that divine love is freedom. It does not trap or bind. It says, I choose you, not you must stay. It's reverence. It sees the sacredness in the other person, not through usefulness, not through validation, but through their soul. Divine love is respect. It honors boundaries without resentment. It is truthfulness. It speaks honestly, not manipulatively. It's patience. It allows growth without pressure. It's non-possession. It understands that love is not ownership. Divine love does not eliminate romance, but romance is an expression, not the foundation of divine love. And the highest form of love is not necessarily romance. Although romance may be involved, the highest form of love is recognition. Recognition means I see you. I see who you truly are. Not your personality, not your trauma, not your performance, but your divine identity. And when you recognize the divine identity in another person, something changes. You stop trying to fix them. You stop trying to control them. And you stop trying to win against them. You begin to honor their soul's journey. Recognition creates reverence, and reverence creates inner peace. It feels like calm waters after years of storms. Peace can feel unfamiliar to those raised in intensity. We're used to the intensity. We don't understand what peace can truly feel like. Peace can feel unfamiliar to those raised in intensity. Like in a movie, when the heroine only feels alive in chaos. And when the story quiets, she thinks something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. Peace is mature love. It feels like sitting beside someone without performance, like breathing without tension, like resting without fear. It feels like coming home. It feels like acceptance. You're accepting him, he accepts you. Let's take Monica, who loved deeply, but when she felt insecure, she monitored. She checked tone, checked timing, checked who he followed online. All this monitoring taking place. She told herself she was protecting the relationship, but she was protecting fear. One evening, she paused and asked, if I truly loved him, would I need to control him? And she began practicing release. Not detachment, not indifference, but trust. I release you to your own soul. I release you to be who you need to be. And that releasing in the relationship had a strange impact. It started softening the relationship. And strangely, the relationship softened because love thrives in freedom. And what Monica was learning at a soul level is non-possession. Because divine love cannot breathe under surveillance. And it constricts the person when the ego is always involved in human love. It always has a price tag to it. Let's take Daniella. And what I want to talk about here is that she had built her identity on being right. She was intelligent, she was perceptive, and she was really sharp. And during an argument with her partner, she had evidence. She had messages and dates and facts. And she could win with that information that she did have. But as she prepared her response, something deeper rose within her. And it was the question of, do I want to win or do I want unity? And her pride wanted victory. Her soul wanted harmony. Her pride didn't mind an argument. Her soul wanted understanding of the situation. She softened her tone, not because she was wrong, but because she valued connection over ego. Humility in divine love is not weakness. It is strength under discipline. Humility says, I value truth more than superiority. And when humility enters, love expands. More information is given. A greater understanding is able to come about. And wiser questions are being able to ask because it's from an entirely different lens. that you're asking it from. So the soul lesson that Daniella learned was humility. Because pride blocks intimacy, but humility opens spiritual communion and communication and how you say something and when you say something. You're doing it from a different frequency, a different vibration that honors you and honors the other person. So I want to say this. Love is not something you find. Love is something you purify. Every relationship reveals where fear remains, where pride resists, where control hides, where attachments clings. We work on the soul united with Christ awareness, your higher spiritual awareness, and it embodies love without distortion. Not dramatic love, not anxious love, not possessive love, but clear, reverent, steady love. And that kind of love begins within. This is the deepest rewrite of all. Rewriting your understanding of what divine love is versus ego human love. Being able to watch yourself and observe yourself in relationships. Finding out where there's more control or wanting possessiveness or wanting the person to explain themselves. And being able to take a step back and tie into your alignment with your soul and your spiritual values and understanding and asking your inner self, what is the best thing for me to do here? And listen and then act accordingly and learn and continue to grow. For love is an ongoing process of loving, learning, growing, understanding. That is walking the spiritual path. And awareness that it's not going to be all done in one fell swoop. We're living life, and every day, in every way, we're learning to be better in our interactions, in our understanding of love, in our understanding of harmony, and our understanding of peace. These are the qualities of the soul. But the soul is also discerning, and it also wants to see the truth for what it is and act accordingly there as well. We can sometimes feel as if it's hard to distinguish between love and what you're talking about in terms of divine love versus the human love. And I agree. And that's why I was saying, observe yourself. Take it slow. See where you have a pull towards more the ego side of love, which is possession, possessing another person or controlling them or manipulating them in order to do what you want them to be able to do. But that part takes energy to have them do what you want. And when they don't, you get annoyed, and it also results in more emotional energy being expended. By that expenditure, you get frustrated, you get upset, you get angry, you get mad. You go into this energy of a negative spiral that is not a representation of the trueness of who you really are. And when we start to observe ourselves and we start to say, okay, how is divine love showing up here in my relationship? And what do I notice what I'm doing in the relationship that is helping to cultivate the love? And when a person or your significant other is doing something that you're finding is really manipulative on their part, maybe sometimes we need to pause and just smile for a minute and just say, that's interesting. I could see myself doing that too. And laugh at yourself and be able to say then to the other person, the partner, hey, I'm working on this. I'm working on understanding when my human self comes up and wants to create this possessiveness and control and manipulation, and when divine love. And I am working on divine love. I'm working on understanding in myself, in this relationship, what I would like more of, and that's divine love. Can we do it together? Can we spot these energies coming up in both of us, and we can play with it and be able to make a shift in how we're speaking to each other or behaving towards each other? That allows you to now work in partnership with a person when you're finding that you're getting more dramatic with each other, or you're getting more anxious or more possessive of each other, you're saying, stop. That's not the train. That is not the train that we want to be on. That is not the direction we want to move in. I value this relationship. I value all the wonderful qualities you bring into the relationship. And I will work on me. I would hope you would work on you. I want more showing up is the higher love, the divine love that allows me in my turn, because I only have control over me, that allows me to feel more peaceful inside, that allows me to have that measure of harmony, that gives me that keenly attunement with my soul, with my intuition, and what needs to happen. And it gives me a greater joy and happiness. Those are the things we can work on an individual level. And then if you have the partner and they're willing to work on the same quality of divining and cultivating this quality of love, then that's a great tango, a great dance that you're doing with each other, a great willingness to work with each other. And that really hits upon what I said earlier about divine love. It's freedom, it's reverence, it's respect, it's truthfulness, patience, not possessing someone else. It's the freedom that you have to be and allowing the other person to be. And each are working on themselves to be their best self. Something to think about. Bye for now. And you can find my podcast episodes on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and at JudithMLA.com. Thank you for joining me for this episode on Mastering Life's Adventures, being your best self through soul evolution. If you have enjoyed what you've heard today, I would be delighted if you would share this episode with others, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe to my Mastering Life's Adventures podcast. Look forward to your joining the next episode. Please leave any comments or suggestions you might have below. Bye for now.